EDG were able to enter the OMG arena where they picked up a 2-1 victory. Now it's time for Vici to head into the Snake pit, go up against Snake at Chongqing. We're coming to you live from that arena right now. Snake were able to pick up a victory against EDG last week, cementing themselves as the clear heads and favorites from their conference. They also have the now 2-0 lead against EDG, something their coach is incredibly happy about. Vici, however, have since been eliminated from playoff contention. We're now going to be able to explore what does the rest of this series, what does the rest of the split actually mean to Vici, and how dominant are Snake at the moment. Hello everyone, I'm Matthew Stewart. Joining me on the desk is Indiana Frostco in Black. You may have recognized her. She transformed into Frostco after being Pulse for some time and was hosting earlier.
Get you a girl that can do both.
Pretty much. So we're going to dive straight into this second match of the day. It is going to be Vici taking on Snake. And Snake, they looked good to start the split. Going to cross-conference is where their entire conference started getting destroyed by the eastern side. Moving back into regular conference play, they've done well, taking out EDG once again, but we really need to see what they can do next.
Yeah, Snake just frankly had a better game plan when they took on EDG. They had a better read on the meta, and they also had a better read about what makes EDG strong and how to counter it. And a lot of that was on the back of SOFM, had a phenomenal series, definitely also elevated Haro to step up, but at the end of the day, SOFM reigned supreme.
Which is something we always talk about when we bring up SOFM. He is an import from Vietnam, and he's been playing in the LPL for some time now, but he's very similar to LCK junglers, and Snake do a really good job of playing around SOFM really well, which is something that we haven't seen from other LPL teams when they've brought in Korean import junglers.
And now he actually gets to face a Korean jungler today in Swift across the other side on Vici. Now the thing about SOFM is you cannot stop him, but you can attempt to contain him. And what's been showcased as like a strong blueprint against SOFM is to set traps. You need to make sure that you have a winning jungle matchup, you need to make sure that you have mid lane priority, and you need to camp your raptors. Haro actually did something quite clever on EDG versus Snake, where he would run from his blue side buff, this is when SOFM was on red side, and then run immediately to SOFM's red buff, place wards, and then just kind of wait in a bush, because everyone knows what SOFM's pathing is. He's very greedy with it. He's kind of established a very strong formula to his pathing, and so you can trip him up there, but you better be ready to go toe-to-toe with one of the best junglers in the LPL.
And we've seen so many times, as you mentioned, that you can't really stop SOFM, you can only really track him, and the biggest example was when Rogue Warriors played against Snake, where Rogue Warriors jungler Flawless was known for being the killer. Tried to track down SOFM, found him in his own jungle, but every single time SOFM would just beat him to the punch, would able to return the favor. He turned into the killer afterwards. It's going to be curious to see what Vici can do, because Vici recently not recently, this entire split have not been having any good performances.
Yeah, the kid gloves have to come off with Vici. Like you said, it's kind of these two teams have very different expectations going into this series. Vici, they've got 2 weeks left, they're out of playoff contention, they're sitting currently last place, and it's probably going to be about rotating their pieces. I expect that we'll probably see several roster rotations. They're starting to snow over Martin in the ADC position. I don't know if Fire Rain will come in game number 2. I kind of have a sneaking suspicion that he will, because it feels like Vici are trying to find the right formula and the right pieces for summer 2018. Now the issue is that Vici have been in the LPL for so long. This is a roster that has had 4 world champions. Dandy, Mata, Bengi, all on this roster. Now EasyHoon, their last world champion, and they've never finished above 6. They've been relegated from the LPL. So something is going wrong internally with this team where they need to make super dramatic changes if they come from 2018 spring to 2018 summer.
Unfortunately for Vici, the LPL is now a franchise, so they can't be relegated this split, but they'll be still fighting to show what they're made of, try and fight for the synergy moving to the summer split, where they could potentially try and make that world's run.
And even more so, you're still fighting for the reputation of Vici Gaming. Internationally as an organization, it is very well renowned. It is very successful in the likes of Dota, these other esports. So it still is unfortunately kind of a blemish on the resume of Vici Gaming that they cannot perform in League of Legends.
And we see things like EasyHoon being taken out. We already hear him all the time, especially during the intro videos to the LPL, where we see that, he was able to bring the team away from the LSPL back into the LPL, has fought through thick and thin with the team. They're bringing in players like Fire Rain now, replacing EasyHoon in the mid lane. I'm really curious to see, are they really trying to see if they can replace their star player, one of the players that they brought in who was a former world champion, or they're just trying to work things out with the Vici roster?
I really want to move away from the word star. Unfortunately for EasyHoon, when he does have his strong games, his strong Azir performance, I think it's almost unfair to call EasyHoon a star. Yes, he's a world champion. No one can take that away from him. He did play in that world championship run, but he was not the star ever of that team, and I don't really think he ever has been a star. And frankly, I think that he's probably the #1 problem with Vici Gaming. His style just does not suit how they want to play or how to be competitive in the LPL, which is why I'm glad that they actually grabbed a star in Swift. Because if anyone's going to actually turn Vici Gaming around and give them a strong identity that will make them competitive in the LPL, it is Swift. And we see that already as Vici play more to Swift style, regardless of who is in the mid lane, because it doesn't really matter if it's EasyHoon or FireRain. Yes, EasyHoon is the stronger mid laner right now, but that identity doesn't change anything for the team, and that's the #1 problem. If you have a world champion right there, you should probably feel like you have a world champion in the mid lane, and right now I'm like, well, I guess their jungler is going to have to hard carry, and if Swift doesn't do well, I guess that's it for Vici.
Which is what we talked about all the time. Since they brought in Swift, yes, they had some growing pains, and it seemed like they had to adapt to his playstyle almost for some time, but now they've kind of meshed with him very well, and they're looking a little bit better in terms of team synergy. They're up against Snake, however. Snake are an incredibly good team this split. They're playing really well, and this is a top against bottom of the table clash once again. This is a time for Snake to be dominant.
Yeah, it's about what does victory actually look like for Snake. We consider them the heavy favorites. That said, miracles have happened. Maybe we'll see one from Vici today. It has to start in the jungle. But for Snake, after the dismantling of JD, after they 2-0'd RNG, and then Invictus Gaming just came in and smashed them in under 25 minutes, Snake almost have to do the exact same thing to Vici if we still want to even consider the Western Conference in the same breath as the Eastern Conference. Because right now you have these Eastern giants, and that side of the bracket just looks completely stacked. And if Snake's the best hope for the West, they better show it today.
And if that's going to be the case for Snake, what is their game plan going to be? Do they try to tear apart Swift? Because we know that Snake are going to play around their jungler SOFM. Do they try to counter that by taking apart Swift, or do they target the rest of the map where Vici have looked weak recently?
I mean, frankly, you could target any part of the map for Vici Gaming. And the thing is Crystal, we were having this discussion when they were facing EDG. Clement and I were on and on that Crystal is a mid-tier, mediocre ADC in the scheme of the LPL. You know, we have such a stacked top 5 that if you put Crystal in any other region, he's probably fine. But in this region, he comes up short, and the team should be able to exploit it. Against the likes of Snow and Martin, Crystal's not going to have any problem. So the one weak link of Snake that you would think that you could target and that the other top teams have with the SMLZs, the Jackie Loves, and the Uzis, Snake's not going to have that problem here. So they can attack anywhere on the map that they want. They can throw to Flandre. He's got the highest gold percentage and damage share of any of the top laners. They could even throw it to Crystal and Hude in the bot lane.
Well, let's take a look at Snake's lineup. They'll be starting the blue side for game #1. Flandre, SOFM, Guok, Crystal, as well as Hude.
Now, where I actually think the throwdown's going to happen is going to be in that jungle because, again, it's all about Swift and SOFM. If Vici want a shot in hell at making a victory, Swift has to step up and step up big, and you cannot stop SOFM. He will style on you, but you can try to keep up with him.
It is the style of me, after all. Let's see if Swift can do it, because his teammates can be Long, EasyHoon, Snow, as well as Caveman.
And we're still trying to find that secret formula. Right now, they're a $300 card with a $3,000 stereo in it, and they want to try to upgrade some of these parts, and it's going to start in the ADC position with Snow.
My goodness, Snow's going to have some work cut out for him, because there's a $3,000 stereo on Vici. You're looking towards Swift to be that stereo. Is the bass loud enough, though?
Crank it up and get the theme music going, because they're going to need some Eye of the Tiger and some secret formula if they want to keep up with Snake, especially in the Snake Pit.
Unfortunately, the Rocky theme does not start just yet, because Vici are no longer able to make it to playoffs. Snake are still trying to secure their spot, and crucially, trying to pick up as many points as they can, like we saw EDG do earlier today, to make sure they can get as many buys as possible with being to playoffs.
And starting to talk about kind of what these win conditions look like, I think red side is really important for Vici here, because again, pound for pound on talent, they're not as strong as Snake's members, so they really need to rely on the counter pick that red side can open up just to keep up with Snake's solo laners, so that Swift doesn't get absolutely blasted in the jungle because his lanes don't have pushing priority.
So it seems like all eyes are going to be on the junglers heading into the first match. Before we go into game #1, though, we do have our match of the week coming up as the 3rd series for today. That will start on time regardless of the outcome of this series. With that, let's send it over to our casters.
Thank you so much, Fish and Frosk. It me dumb. This guy, Clement. We're going to get into game really quickly because, as I hear, they are really ramping up the speed in the Snake Pit. At least that's the hope for the likes of Snake in this matchup against Vici, because, again, this is the best team in the West Conference, playing the worst team in the West Conference. And I think it's pretty safe to say we should be expecting a shellacking.
Yeah, we do need to see a shellacking from Snake because so far they haven't been able to do it against lower bracket teams. They still have the second longest game time out of any team in the LPL. Just not very clean execution. They want to show some dominance coming into playoffs.
And the hope is that we see it here against the likes of Vici Gaming. Now, that being said, we've already got 2, now 3 quick bans being taken away from the likes of Snake.
This is the big thing that we were talking about between me and you before the ban picks was that Long doesn't really play any of those bruiser champions. There's 3 big champions that he needs to take away from Flandre to level the playing fields, and those are Camille, Vladimir, and also the Gangplank. He does not touch any of those 3, and that's been a huge problem for Vici for a long time. It puts them behind in the ban pick phase.
Well, now Long, perhaps we could see an early top lane priority. We've seen solo lane priorities earlier today, and it worked out quite well for OMG, but will that be the way that Vici decide to run it, as they have got Snow filling in for the AD carry position for them? Could prioritize that bottom lane with a Xayah first pick. So far, he's played it twice already and won both times.
Yeah, so Snow, basically the new member on Vici Gaming, taking over the helm on Martin. He pretty much fills the same role, but with different champions. Still 32% of his team's damage, but he much more favors the Xayah and the Caitlyn over things like the Tristana.
We'll see what the answer is going to be from Crystal in that bottom lane, because he needs to prove himself in this next matchup, as Rakan is the follow-up. Xayah Rakan, the lovers duo.
This is an interesting pick here. Usually when you see the Xayah first pick, you see something else taken just for a priority pick, so you can leave the other team hanging for a little while. They're not going to pick up the Rakan. Rakan's not very good on his own, not a bachelor type of person, but they don't hold any punches here, and they go through the draft relatively quickly on Vici's side.
Look, I reckon Rakan has got a stellar bachelor pad. We might get a chance to see it at some point, but for now, we have to turn our attention back to the likes of Alistar and Azir, locked in. Guoguo prioritizing that in the mid lane. Very huge champion for him. He's played it 7 times with an 86% win rate. And of course, Sejuani locked in for Swift on the opposite side.
So it's really important to note about the Azir. Usually Snake and Guoguo specifically, they like to take the Rise instead of the Azir. But the reason they're doing it is because of EasyHoon. Now, EasyHoon had a great game on Azir in the previous series, got a quadra kill. So they're taking away something from EasyHoon, and they still feel comfortable on Azir even on patch 8.5, where the champion has been nerfed.
Well, we'll see what the answer is going to be from EasyHoon in the mid lane, as so far we're seeing more top lane bans being taken away from Long. Snake very clearly have their priorities set up. And like you said, that Gangplank could still be an option for Flandre.
Yeah, that's that one pick that Long doesn't really touch and Flandre has in his back pocket. But looking elsewhere on the matchup, we're seeing Vici also identifying the weakness of Snake. They're trying to punish Crystal, taking away the safe pick in the Ezreal and also his most played on the Varus. So a very interesting setup here. What has made Vici successful in the early game so far we've seen is Long's teleport, his initiations, and with this setup, they have a very strong power play about level 6, level 7, where they can all go into the bot lane and try to punish Crystal.
And that's been where Vici have found a lot of their strengths. When they can set the pace of the game, when they can dictate the tempo of all of the lanes and all of the matchups, that's when we see them at their best. And like you said, they have engaged just about everywhere so far, and they're still saving counter pick for Long.
Yeah, not a lot of options here for Crystal right here. This is going to be a tough decision. He's going to have to pick something that can possibly survive the lane. Ideally, he would want Tom Kench on this rotation, but of course, it's already been banned away.
Yeah.
It's also
Crystal.
Oh, come on. Are you serious?
In front of the hometown crowd. You've got him all riled up. He's got a chuckle. Hudye. Oh, he's got a smile. There's no way.
Oh,
There's
man.
no way he takes it. Oh,
there you go. There
chin
you go.
locked in.
All right, now this is a much safer option than the Draven. You know, buddy, I love the Draven. He had that duel with Jackie Love where he actually came out ahead.
Yeah.
But you're not picking a Draven into Rise, Sejuani, Rakan inside. There's no way you're going to do that.
Oh, man.
It makes a lot
Technically,
more sense.
stand aside can interrupt Rakan's grand entrance.
Yeah, but can you interrupt Glacial Prison?
Well,
Oh!
not technically. Wow.
What?
Is that a Jace lock-in?
Is that long?
It is. So far, he's only played the champion once in 2018 and lost with it with a whopping 0.0 KDA. So Long taking the confidence
Okay.
play against Flandre's Gangplank.
I was definitely expecting a tank, and what I was thinking about this composition was that they were just going to get a tank, teleport into the bot lane. They have mid lane priority with the Rise. They have a lane gank that's really powerful with the Sejuani. Put a tank and lock it down. Well, Vici are saying no. We don't need any more CC and initiation in this bot lane anymore. We're actually going to take it to Flandre in the top.
Like you said, this could be a way for Vici to try to dictate the tempo, dictate the pace of this game. If Long gets an advantage, then that's 3 lanes that are all very present for the likes of Vici.
Yeah, so Snake basically going with a very conservative type of composition. You know, they don't have mid lane priority with Guoguo. Against the Rise matchup, it doesn't fare so well, and they have a bit of a slow start in both their bot lane and in their top lane. So it doesn't look like Snake is going to go for the crushing victory that we wanted them to. Instead, they're just going to go with slow and steady.
Still, though, as we get closer to playoffs, you always have to ask the question of if you're, oh my god, if you're already that close to getting in, do you commit to finding new strategies, or do you hone what works already? We're just going to gloss over that.
Okay.
But that's a question I'd actually present to you, Clement.
Okay.
If you're getting this close to playoffs, if you're 2 games away from locking in your playoff spot, do you try to show something new, to experiment with new strategies this close 2 weeks away, or hone what you know works?
Well, for Snake, I want to show people one thing, and that's our bot lane came here to play. Like, you cannot punish our bot lane with other of those picks right here. But, you know, they're still going with something really safe this time around.
They certainly are. We'll have to see if it works out, because it looks like we are just about ready to load onto the Rift for Game 1 of Snake versus Vici. The Vici fans giving some surprising volume, as Chongqing, already proven to be one of the loudest of the 4 venues, still rocks the very bleachers with its volume.
Yeah.
Now we've loaded onto the Rift.
You know, Easyhoon might not be a star in Frost's eyes, but for the Chinese community, they still love the guy. So
there you go.
That.
Well, it is Unsealed Spellbook from Easyhoon. He's going to help Snow and Caveman start off with this first Crystal Shrine, but we do see defensive line story on Flandre is actually back in base, making his way out now.
Huh. Interesting.
Bit curious. Long sitting in brush.
He didn't drop a ward either. The only reason I could think about him going back was he forgot to buy. That does actually just look like the case. Okay.
Minion Dematerializer and full-on Corrupting Potion, as SOFM is going to get a leash at his red buff. So we have bottom side starts from both of these junglers. We'll have to see how this laning phase works out for the rest of the lanes, because Snake, again, they have one of the longest win times in the league right now, the second longest at 36 minutes and 18 seconds, second only to Suning's 36:23. That being said, they are still a team that is very good with an advantage. Wow, that was a great dancing grenade.
Yeah, so Snake, still a team that likes to take their time. They don't really play any faster when they're going up against the bottom side of the bracket compared to the better teams. So that's been something that's been worrying me a little bit about Snake, that they do tend to play to the level that their opponents are at. However, the big thing for me in this matchup is, how does Long play Jace? Because in my opinion, there should only be 2 Jace players in the world, and those are Khan and the Shy. I'm sorry, Hanser, don't do it.
Oh, brutal. Shots fired here on the LPL desk. But here you can see some of the stats for the 2. Look at the KDA, 15 out of 14 teams.
All right, so that's basically answered my question. Somehow Jace is losing the trade level 2. He's got hit by a barrel, and he's not doing very well.
And you look at the stats as well, as Swift actually on the invade here finds SOFM, gets him over the wall, starts tagging the stun. Smite was used by SOFM to secure his blue buff, but he's locked down. Red buff burning away. SOFM still trying to retreat away from the red. Swift does not flash to follow.
Yeah, that's a good play there from Swift, finding out where the Skarnar is, and the most important thing, this is going to allow Long to play very aggressive in lane. We've seen Flawless do the same exact move, but of course he he got the grub!
He actually did. Of course he did. SOFM, you may invade my jungle, but those camps are mine, Swift.
Oh, SOFM, you know he's typing Worth right there. Flash for Gromp? Great deal, man.
Absolutely. Oh, man. And just to further talk a little bit about that top lane, the stat that you might have seen from Long that was so good, second out of all of the top laners, was damage taken per minute. This is a guy who plays tanks.
Yes, he's
and
tank only.
Now he's on a Jace, so we'll have to keep an eye on that matchup, especially now that there is no Skarner Flash to interact. Meanwhile, bottom lane, you just saw some of Hujie's stats.
Yep.
To hold down the fort.
Just to key us down a little bit. So the most notable thing about the stats that he has the second highest ward clear out of any of the supports right there. It is reasonable since Snake is winning so many of their games. Usually if you're winning, you do play on the side of the enemy jungle a lot more, but that's still a noteworthy thing. Very good at finding out enemy wards.
Not to mention the fact that Snake are a very, very, very vision-oriented team. SOFM places the most wards in the league by a country mile, and that vision is what allows him to be so wild and invading, and why his team is so good at following up, because they know, all right, I can catch up to you, SOFM, or I can't, you need to retreat.
Yeah. Apparently, South Korea actually just means Vietnam. So definitely a very, very strong Korean tendencies coming out there from SOFM.
Yeah. Maintaining that vision presence. But still, we've got fairly standard lanes as Caveman hits the knockup, and Hujie immediately disincentivizes any further trade, but Hujie taking just a few hits here. Still, Crystal's doing a pretty good job down in this bottom lane against Snow. He's already up 9 CS with this initial wave, though Snow should be able to catch up mostly. And that's something that Snake have got to take away from this, because Crystal's performance has been a bit suspect against some of the top tier AD carries in the league.
Yeah, this is a great showing so far. So both of the teams in their bottom lanes, they did help with their jungle leashes. They went to lane at the same time, but still Crystal able to eke out an entire wave in terms of CS advantage. Now, a lot of times, Jin does have a relatively easy time against the Xayah. He does have a very targeted type of ability to go up against her, and a little bit of a range advantage as well.
We can see that providing a bit of an opening for Crystal is Swift. Is he going to control ward? He's hunting for SOFM. Might have got him timed on the Scuttle Crab, but this time SOFM is a level up. Does he still want the skirmish on the Shrine, though, as Guoguo will help zone him away and looks to finish off the Scuttle Crab before turning towards the control ward.
Yeah, well played by SLFM right there. Sidesteps the W from the Sejuani, so he knows he can trade back. And also, if you look at Guoguo's positioning right there, very important to note, he did slant towards the left side over the Rise. So better positioning on the map from Snake, and that just means that Swift isn't going to pursue it.
Take a look, though. Swift is actually invading once again as Flandre is getting pushed in, forced to ult the minion wave, as that was a good attempt from Long.
That was really ballsy from Flandre.
But Swift on the invade gets a ward, spots out SOFM, but Guoguo, again, the communication for Snake, sees that this is happening, pushes the wave in, and then helps escort Swift back out of his jungle. And in the bottom lane, Hujie and Crystal don't try to engage and trade back with Snow and Caveman. They just play it safe.
Yeah, the main problem you're seeing here is that Rise hasn't really hit the point where he can control the wave fully, and this is also due to the patch cutting his wave clear down by a little bit. So without the help of Rise there, Vici have a hard time really setting up the dominance from Long. And I was calling Flandre's Cannon Barrage a very ballsy play because he didn't bother hitting it on the Jace. It's like, I don't even need to slow you. I'm just going for the minions. You're not even going to hit the Shock Blast. And he missed the Shock Blast right afterwards. So it's like, oh wow, Flandre, that was...
It's the confidence play, right?
Yeah,
you play it for the minion wave, and it's worked out. He's 5 CS up so far on the Jace into, Gangplank into Jace.
That should not happen, by the way.
Yeah, the Cannon Barrage is almost off the cooldown. He's nearly got his teleport, and remember, that first dragon is Infernal, so huge incentive to look for that a little bit later. That being said, though, we just have extended laning phase from the bottom half of the map, though SOFM fancies himself a bit of an invade.
Yeah, he's got full vision control over here. Vici Gaming don't see that he's here. And he's basically setting up for the big play where Sejuani with her ultimate and Rise with his lane priority are going to come down in bot lane to try to make things happen. SOFM is doing a preemptive steal here.
Yeah, Guoguo, actually doesn't make it over the blue pit wall. Hujie is there first. That's the Impale. Knock up onto 2. Hujie goes in. Who is the target? SOFM on the side as blue buff is taken in the chaos. It's going to be split, and SOFM goes down as Vici chase. Hujie forced to flash away, but that's Realm Warp to catch up. Pulverize is on cooldown, and Hujie sacrifices himself with a 3-man knockup so that his AD carry might live.
And such good mechanics coming out from Caveman, getting a double knockup and then having the idea to walk down and then basically not allow Crystal to use his curtain call right there. Basically stunned him and then flew back to Snow, who was on top of the ramp. So a lot of that has to go to Caveman. Really well played.
Things It's looking good for Vici after that first skirmish. It might not have been a deliberate trap that they set up to catch SOFM, but it's the exact same game plan we've seen time and time again, a collapse.
Yep, so they are going into Vici's strong side, I would say. 4v4 scenario, Vici should win out on this fight. The really good call from Caveman right there at the start of the fight, double knock up, and then walks into Crystal for another taunt right there. Charm, I should say, and basically clean up crew from there. Zir is not a champion that you really want to 4v4 fight early on with, so a bit of an overreach from Snake, to be honest.
That being said, they are going to be punished. Vici did not actually set or dictate the tempo off of that kill. They were simply reacting to the play of Snake, though we continue to see Swift maneuver around the map and try to catch the likes of SOFM. Still, as we crest towards the 10-minute mark, it's Vici who find themselves with a slight advantage, though the lanes so far seem to be in favor of Snake.
Yeah, we do see the CS lead where in places they shouldn't really be, especially the bot and top lane are very obvious. The Gangplank should not be winning this matchup. You pick the Jace to win lane, and if he isn't doing his job, then you might want to reconsider that, Jace, you know? As for the bot lane, I've been really impressed with Crystal so far. He's really hitting the mark on showing other playoff teams that he can still be a threat and not someone you can bully around.
12 CS ahead so far as he completes his recall. Matches the items of Snow, who has a kill and an assist, as SOFM will be picking up his own blue buff. Is SOFM the kind of jungler who will sit there and wait while Guoguo clears out a cannon wave?
Let's see how many times he pings. I count 5. Okay, he'll wait. He'll wait.
Oh, good guy, SOFM passes it over.
You know, if I play in the jungle, it's 3 pings.
That's
Three
all
pings
you get.
is all
3
you
pings?
get.
Why 3 pings? What dictates?
Well,
where's the line?
Okay, so if you don't see my pings by 3, then you're probably blind. It doesn't make sense for me to ping 4 and 5.
It's a conscious choice at that point, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good flash from Guoguo to get away from Swift, who just walks up, tosses the bola. Very easy for Ryze to follow up with the point-and-click snare, but no Rune Prison after there's no bola.
Yep. So Guoguo playing that matchup, still very well, very conscious of where possibly Swift could come up on the map. And even though there's 2 kills on the map so far, we haven't really seen Vici being able to execute their bot lane strategy.
You see Flandre stepping up to Lung. He's doing good damage. Flashes. Is he going to chase him under the turret? Oh, the parlay for another kill. Solo to Snake's Flandre.
Oh, that was basically Flandre pressing Q to pay his respects. Parlay! And he takes down Lung. Again, this is not supposed to happen in that matchup, all right? I was really surprised by Long picking it up. And, you know, maybe they know they don't have the playoff oath. They want to try something new, but it's not his style. We
do have an engage being forced onto Crystal. He flashes back away from the Featherstorm. Snow catches up and has enough damage to lock him down. Mujié turns and leaves as Long teleports back top.
Yeah, a bit curious right there because we didn't see a flash out from Crystal.
Yeah, we were just commending him for playing a good laning phase. And then he just gets caught disrespecting the Zyra Khan.
Yeah, and if you watch the items, they're still on the same footing. So it was just a straight-up outplay coming out from Snow and Caveman. Let's watch that again. No, we're going to watch
Long.
Gets baited, 1 barrel. Is he going to get... Oh, he gets 2 barrels. Oh, wow.
Ow. And then the auto attack burn.
Yeah, he's actually waiting there, you know?
For the cooldown, yep.
Yeah, he salutes him a little while, puts his gun down, and then cues for respect. Bam!
At least he didn't emote.
Yeah.
Goodness, that would have been salt to the wound. But as it is, it's 1-3. We're still seeing strong laning phase from Snake, though Crystal is starting to fall behind a little bit as Snow has caught up in CS and is now 2-0-1. Still even in the mid lane, though.
Yeah.
Andre is trying to upset that balance as much as he can.
Still gets
lands the barrel combo.
Oh, that's such a clean triple barrel. That's actually very hard to do. Wow, that's really impressive. Flandre
Don't hold back.
Tell
us how you really feel.
Yeah, I mean, Flandre is the best game plank I've seen on flanks. There's a lot of game planks that they don't have an E skill, basically. They have the orange, they have the Q, and they don't really have an E. Flandre is the guy that can flank with the game plank. Super amazing.
We do see the Infernal Dragon being started by Vici. There are pings only now happening from Snake, but they are not responding anywhere near fast enough. The first Drake is taken by Vici. How do Snake use that knowledge? So far, it looks like a rush to take the top tier 1 with Flandre and SOFM.
And I do have to say, along with his item build, it's a very ineffective item build in the top lane if you don't have a lead going for the lifesteal. So the basic concept of lifesteal is if you can stand and auto-attack someone, you get life. But at this point, Long is not going to be able to stand and auto-attack Gangplank. So it's a bit of a waste of gold.
He's 2,200 gold ahead. Meanwhile, it appears that there was a dive bottom lane. Cannon Barrage and Curtain Call clears out the minion wave.
And this is why you pick Jhin as a defensive AD carry, because he can clean the wave without himself being underneath tower. A very defensive-oriented pick we've been seeing crop up multiple times in the LPL, in the LCK as well. It goes well with teams that want to focus more on other lanes, like the top side.
And that's exactly what we see from Snake. As Flandre picks up an advantage, SOFM takes Rift Herald and heads back to base. Guoguo still continues to hold down the fort in the mid lane against Easyhoon. And the next Dragon isn't going to happen for another 5 minutes, though it will be Mountain eventual priority for the likes of both teams.
Yeah,
that just means the laning phase gets to be a little bit longer.
I do feel like Easyhoon has been playing this lane very slow. One of the stats we noticed from Easyhoon is that he pretty much doesn't gank.
Oh, Guoguo is caught. There's the Rune Prison cleanse to get him away, but he gets the shield, manages to knock him under the turret, and the Impale. Caveman flashes. The turret is not enough.
Well done right there. Well, I guess I know why Easyhoon doesn't have to leave his lane, because other people would come and gank it for him. Caveman there with the assist.
And again, this is a Vici that has been eliminated from playoffs. They're not looking at the upcoming playoff split. They're looking at 2018 LPL Summer. Still, we are seeing them bring their A game against the likes of Snake in the Snake Pit. Could you imagine a world where the only teams to walk out of the Snake Pit are Rogue Warriors, IG, FPX, and Vici? What a world that would be as Swift rotates up towards top to catch Long and shove out this turret. There's nobody there to help defend it. Flandre falls back, and that's Vici answering back. This will actually give them the gold lead.
Yeah, that's 2 consecutive plays coming from Vici right there, and no answer from Snake. I'm still pondering your question.
Yeah. Look, it's not that far a world from our own.
I know.
There are still smartphones. Water still comes in bottles. It's really not that different. Humans are still 2 arms, 2 legs.
I know, but my mind was just blown.
Trying to wrap your head around.
Yeah, that was like Easyhoon, like I have a dream moment. It's like Vici will walk out of the Snake Pit.
Oh man. That's almost some Amazing J level of I will take my team to 2018 LPL Summer. But
they're always going to be to do that.
Yeah,
There's no relegation
anymore, I know.
So.
That's why it's funny, Clement.
Okay. Sorry.
No,
I don't get sarcasm. Let's go.
You're good. Now then, 16.5 minutes in, Vici with a 500 gold lead. The top tier ones have been traded. We can actually see Guoguo and SOFM are in the mid lane with Flandre, pushing up onto the turret. Swift clears out the wave, but Herald is going to get a charge. And the bottom lane with Crystal and Hudye are there.
Oh, they've got Swift.
Swift eats the first bullet, sidesteps the second, will eat the third, and it was completely fine. But the mid tier 1 has been broken.
So I want to say it's actually kind of expected for Snake's composition to fall really far behind, just because they don't really have any pressure points that have priority. You look at the bot lane, it's not supposed to have priority. You look at Zero versus Ryze, and also Jace versus Gangplank. However, I wanted to commend Vici. Like, this is something that's relatively new for them, honestly, to take their first move and really roll with the punches and get things going like this. It's really refreshing to see.
I think that's actually a very good way to put it, rolling with the punches. They're seeing what Snake are doing, what SOFM is trying to do around the map, and responding, albeit a little bit late, but late enough to punch back. Here, though, we could be seeing them take the initiative. Crystal is sitting so far back.
He smells it.
He's got his finger on the flash button. D for dodge that spell. And he does not. He gets caught by the Bola. That's a lot of damage. Flash is late, and they look for the dive. Do they decide to commit to it? Cannon Barrage on the minion wave dissuades any further presence.
Good play there, incoming help from the top lane. However, it does leave him quite exposed to Long if he wants to jump out of that rush.
Oh no! Crystal is F4 flash. I was incorrect. It's not D for dodge. It's F for flash. On the likes of this champion. But yeah, you're exactly right, Vici. We're looking for the play.
I think even on the Chinese servers, more people use F for flash. It's like a universal thing, man. I don't understand D flashers.
Oh, well, apparently, 1, 2, looks like 6 players in this game take D for dodge that spell. Just looking through. I'm just quoting numbers at you.
Okay.
I'm just.
Okay.
What are you? Are you a D for dodge or F for flash?
I'm an F for flash.
Okay.
I know my spelling.
Well, we'll have to have a conversation about after the game and try to discuss the merits of the two, because 19 minutes in, Mountain Dragon is up in 20 seconds. Baron is almost on the map, and though we saw an excellent early laning phase from Flandre and that solo gold, he is 2 items up, but only 6 CS ahead as Long has been holding down the fort in the top lane.
Yeah, but we still have to remember this is not a Grasp of the Undying game plan. It is the Kleptomancy.
Yeah, you're right.
So going that far ahead, he's probably 2k ahead at this point, and he does have that tower solo gold, in the top lane as well. So right now, I don't see the merits of the Jace pick anymore. I don't really think it's going to be able to split push even. The burst damage is just way too high from the game flank. What Vici really need to do right now is just try to snowball their bot lane and their mid lane even further. If this goes to late game, I give the advantage over to Snake quite heavily.
Look at this. Snake are grouped up as 5 around that Mountain Dragon pit. You can see all 5 members of Vici are there, including Long, who's walked, but SOFF finds himself a jungler, and Swift gets pulled all the way from blue to the dragon.
Wow. That's such a great combo. That was so well executed.
The Alistair
there was
starter.
an impale into a barrel, and then Hoohin knocked him back into the dragon pit.
That just feels bad. That's a roller coaster at that point. Take your hands off the wheel, because that's a kill for Snake and that Mountain Dragon. Next one will be an Infernal, though, as Guoguo targeting out EasyHoon in the mid lane. Flandre doing some damage. Realm Warp. EasyHoon gets out!
Oh, well done. You no longer can use the perfect timing on this patch. He doesn't even have it, but he still managed to use his movement speed, get onto his Realm Warp, and get away right there. But that was a kind of a poor situation read from Vici. They actually need to do things early, so it was a good opportunity for them to try to contest the dragon and win a fight there, but unfortunately they just weren't grouped up for it. Snake got the drop on that and performed an execute on Swift. Basically.
Whoa! Deadly Flourish along with some cannon barrage damage onto Long Hudye coming from way downtown has found a very overextended Jace. Another 5-man kill for the likes of Snake.
That was not a teleport cow. That was just a straight Moby Boots, I'm gonna walk all the way behind you.
He hoofed it all the way behind him. Still, though,
do that?
I have no idea how he managed to get that far back. But Snake, they are being so diligent with the vision that they're setting up. They've controlled the top side of the map. They've still got Remnant wards on the bottom half. Perhaps that could be it, slipping through the fingers of Vici's wards.
Yeah, so Snake are pretty much just outpacing Vici all over the map. They're first to the punch, and Vici aren't reading what the plays are. They aren't setting up for anything that they should, in theory, be looking out for.
As a result of that, we can see the gold advantage has swung back towards Snake. They're now about 2,000 gold ahead of Vici. Still, a lot of that gold has got to be on Flandre, who is now 30 CS ahead, 2-0 and 1 to the 0 and 2 Jace for Long. Things are starting to look a little bit dire for the top laner of Vici. They flourish when they're able to set the tempo, but so far, they've been running to the drum of Snake's beat.
Oh, that's just a very easy answer. Just read the top laner's name. Is his name Khan? No. Is his name The Shy? No. Why is he on Jace? I'm not sure.
Does there have to be like a license? Do you have to take a test in order to play the champion? What is your qualifying bar?
All right, so first of all, you can't lose lane level 2 to a game flank. I think that's mandatory.
That's fair, yeah.
You need to hit your shot blast. You need really good jungle coordination. You need to make it of science. You need Papa Smithy, going over with a stamp. He needs to give you that stamp.
The Papa Smithy Jace stamp of approval. Realm Warp, I saw them. He's slowed. He flashes over the wall. That's Realm Warp and the Glacial Storm as Guoguo gets away from the Rune Prison of EasyHoon. Still, good damage is traded back.
That's a good try by Vici Gaming right there. If they got the stun, I think they had a really high probability of following up with Caveman and securing the kill. Fortunately, right there.
As it is, they are only able to find some vision around that Baron buff. Don't want to take any chances with the massive advantage that Snake are rocking, especially now that Gangplank is unlocked with the teleport.
Both of these teams currently are running very catch-oriented compositions. Whenever this happens, I always repeat this, but whoever gets the first catch usually can snowball the entirety of the team fight. They'll get a kill much faster down. So it's good that Vici is reading that in their composition and trying to get the first move going on.
Flandre is just brutal on this gangplank, pushing wave after wave. 3 completed items to the 2 of his opponent. So much pressure on the map. And though both teams are looking for a catch composition, a lot of this comes down to the vision. Who can find the opening first? Who can sneak in and catch someone unprepared?
Yeah, my big problem is, can EasyHoon actually be the initiator for any of this? So my big problem with EasyHoon, and you know what I was trying to go on before it was interrupted, was that EasyHoon rarely leaves his lane. He has the second lowest roam rate out of any of the mid laners. Believe it or not, the only one that roams even less is actually Goon. So very slow play style, but he's in a scenario where Relmore could do his team a lot of help. He's with the Rakan. He wants to find ganks with the Glacial Prison as well. So can he be the one that initiates? If you look on the flip side, Guo, he's great on Rise, and he's great because he can always be the one stepping up and Relmorphing onto a catch. A lot of times the observers don't even catch him doing that. Can EasyHoon do the same?
So far, it looks like he's just committing to the 1-3-1 as SOFM, I don't know if you caught that, was laughing on top of the ward of Vici Gaming. So the Snake Pit still looking very confident as they just sit and wait. Vici placed all of their vision, all of their wards, but for those in Caveman's pocket, and then immediately just turn around and have it all swept right back out from under them.
Yeah, that's a pretty poor tempo play from Vici right there. What you want to do is you want to set that vision as your team members have already came out of base. If you look on the map right now, what happened is EasyHoon was going back to base, Swift was going back to base, excuse me, and they set the vision before both of them are going back to base. So essentially, they just wasted a bunch of gold.
And that said, Vision still ends up for Snake. A lot of that gold is going into Flandre right now. Still split pushing happily.
Oh, he's farming the
doing
Krugs
Krugs
as well.
at the same time. Ah, couldn't be better. Oh, there he goes. Aggroes them once again to make sure the tiny Krugs reset.
Yeah, he's humming to himself. Money, money, money.
Money, money. Still, 30 seconds for the Infernal Dragon. Both of the teams have one of their own, a Mountain for Snake and that Infernal for Vici. Baron still on the map. They might be looking for picks, but so far neither team has found them because they're moving safely. They're moving as a collective unit. That said, there still is a lot of opportunity for someone to get picked off with some massive damage on the Rise, Xayah, and Jace, compared to that of the Gangplank, Azir, and Jhin.
If you look at Flandre right now, I'm pretty sure he could split push against EasyHoon. EasyHoon spent a lot of items in the MR, magic resistance, and Flandre is just pure physical damage.
Realm Warp gets EasyHoon behind the Dragon, but it's already been taken. Snake go in and get right back out. That means mid is undefended, though. Gogo starts his recall.
Ooh, they do have a Baron play right now. But, yeah, teleports and Cannon Barrage still up. They're just going to feint to that side and try to force Snake to maybe face check.
That said, Snake have still got a healthy swath of vision all across the river, and though Vici clear out most of it, Snake just play it nice and slow. Wards over the wall.
Look at what he's doing. He's calling the bluff. He's like, you know, you guys are Vici. You're not pulling the trigger. I'm just going to take this tower.
And he does. Long actually steps up to find him. Looking for the 1v1. Udyr takes a lot of damage as the Bolo will actually tag onto SOFM. He's caught, knocked up, locked up, and dead. That is going to be the jungler gone for the likes of SOFM. Or sorry, Snake. They continue to trade it out as EasyHoon steps up, has to cleanse flash away. Curtain call onto Swift. He takes a lot more. The force bullet is going to miss. Flash gets Swift to safety.
So the question really here after that fight is, was that worth it for Vici? Because if you look at their flashes, that was 3 flashes for 1 kill. And SOFM didn't even expend his flash either. So essentially that's just 300 gold. Didn't really change much about the match.
And that 300 gold will at the very least help EasyHoon and the rest of Vici get themselves to a little bit closer to Snake. Still 3,000 gold down, but when we're seeing Vici attempt to set the tempo and set the pace of the game, Snake are just not biting or reacting to these plays. They want their prey live, not cold and dead.
Just look at how much gold this Gangplank is
4 items! He's nearly 6 items 30 minutes into the game.
He's going to be a 30-minute full build Gangplank. And he's cleared out all the wards as well. He's like, guys, wait a minute. I need to get all my items.
Now, they're already starting the Baron. They've got that 1 Mountain Dragon to shred through. That's a teleport from Long after he breaks down a tier 1, but Baron is dead. Udyr with the ultimate retreats as the teleport is canceled by Long. Recall from the likes of Snake to defend, but they've already opened up the map so much.
Yeah, Long really called the wrong bluff right there. He was trying to do a Flandre impression. It's like, I'm going to stay here, take your tower. It's like, oh, Baron's gone.
And look at the item Flandre gets as he makes his way back out onto the map. Another BF sword. This guy is massive.
Yeah. You know, sometimes the game planks work themselves into a frenzy, and they keep on clearing waves after their full build.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You just get used to it at that point.
Yeah, I think this is probably what he's going to do. So, like...
Well, I mean, what else are you going to do with your gangplank?
You could
run around
give the
and
money to Crystal. He's
drop
only
more.
on 2 items.
He is, oh my god. His AD carry is at 2 items and he's at 4.5.
This guy's literally taking everything on the map.
He is the bank.
When's the
He's
last
not
time?
taking the bank.
When's the last time you've seen SOFM take Krugs?
That's a good point. Flandre is so big, he's denying SOFM his own jungle. That is a bad place for Vici to be in. Still though, Baron back up. You've got the banner of the command now in SOFM's pocket. With Guoguo pushing up in the top lane and Flandre grouping up with his team in the mid lane, this could look to break a tier 2.
All right, so we finally see Snake grouping up right now. They have a very strong sieging combination. They can do the Cannon Barrage into the Jhin ultimate, and that would usually force defenders to leave their own towers. So it's going to be up to Vici to see where they really pitch their tents and when they try to defend. Looks like it's going to be for the high ground.
Yeah, it's not going to be on the tier 2, as that's now a bannered cannon. Thomas the tank pushing all the way up, but EasyHoon is going to absorb it. Flandre keeping 3 people occupied. Make that 4, though the rest of Snake group up to join him 5 members. Though it appears that cannon minion did push into the inhibitor turret and will be broken down shortly. Still, Crystal is pushing wave after wave as Flandre looks to collect bottom.
Now, there's a lot of creative ways that Snake can break this siege right now. They can send Fudia in alone, and basically everyone behind him opens up. Cannon Barrage, barrels, and Curtain Call should do the trick on some of the carries here from Vici.
Oh, they managed to find the pick onto Caveman. That's some good damage. Is it enough to kill him? He dodges out of the way, leaving Snow to eat the 4th bullet. He's going to have to retreat back to the fountain along with his support. That's 2 members missing from this push as Crystal walks up. Still, he's got to reload. Guoguo trying to clear it out. And it does go down. The inhibitor line has been cracked, and Snake now turned forward. It's a great dodge. Hudye takes the bullet to the face quite happily as Flandre brings yet another wave in, and there's still 45 seconds on the Baron.
Yeah, Snake notes that was a 5v4, so they instantly back off. Really well played.
Flash engage, and they managed to get Caveman. He is dead. Crystal on the side is totally fine. Long can't even get in there. Swift forced to dash away as Comet will tag him. EasyHoon looking for some form of damage, but with their primary engage down and dead, the inhibitor goes down.
Snake were just too far ahead at that point. They expended 2 ultimates on the previous tower, and they were still very confident in playing a 4-1 and then walking up to an inhibitor. So that's just how far they are ahead. Honestly, on the execution, Snake actually could have done it a little bit better in terms of taking down the second mid tower. What you want to do is you want to do Baron, Cannon Barrage into the W from Jhin, and then you do Curtain Call. So they missed a step right there, but it was okay. They forced back Snow. There's no minion dematerializers on the team. They have abandoned minion, so it worked out fine. But that combo, the correct way to do that combo is R from Gangplank, W from Jhin, and then R from Jhin again.
I mean, at this point, you can just afford to drop the Cannon Barrage and see what else the rest Snake do, because now it's 6 items on Flandre, Clement. Ooh. 32 minutes in. Look at that!
I like what he's doing here. So he's not going for the minion waves anymore. He's like, I'll just take neutral objective.
Yeah. Takes himself a Cloud Dragon. Next dragon will be Elder, but 18,000 gold! He is 6,000 gold ahead of his opponent!
That's ridiculous.
And then another 6,500 gold over his AD carry. That is a Flame Horizon.
Yeah, he's doing a Wall Street impression, you know? This is after they repealed Last Eagle, and it's like, we're going to start banking.
He is having a great time.
Oh, wow. That was
oh, dearie me. That said, Long is still level 17, though. 3 items against 6 is going to be real tough. Already, though, Swift will be able to contest SOFM for the likes of his Raptors, but Super Minion's pushing in. Banner is ready once again, and Guoguo's prepping a wave up top. It's only a matter of time, Clement.
Yeah, it's pretty much how does Snake want to do this? Are they going to pull out
How do you want to do this?
Yeah, like what type of combo are you going to get? Like what type of R's are you going to get from Flandre? He has multiple upgrades, I assume, at this point.
There's the cannon barrage, immediate engage into the front line.
Nice.
Guogua is dead. Meanwhile, they've caught onto Caveman. He dashes back away. Hujet goes in and goes down. Meanwhile, Flandre unable to get a kill because he's exhausted. SOFM retreating along with Crystal, who flashes away. Realm War pins him back, but everybody takes it, and they're unable to catch up to Crystal. Over the wall, plus a flash. Doesn't get the knockup. Able to land the stun. Full duration, and Crystal goes down. That's SOFM retreating as Flandre will chuck a barrel. And despite the massive gold advantage, Vici are still alive.
That was so well done from Caveman. Again, saving the entire map right there, getting Guogua before he could really react, and instantly killing him. Now, the problem I had with Snake, with that siege, is if they wanted to do the cannon barrage and into the Jin skill set, why are you guys standing so close to the tower?
Yeah.
There's no reason that you need to do
Max
the
range.
combo. Yeah, you do it at max range. Like, why are they standing here?
Guogua steps in, gets immediately punished.
And look at Hudia. So he was trying to go in and get a triple stun, but he was stopped midway from Swift. Really good play, really good reactive mechanical play. He basically used the Glacial Prison to instantly catch Hudia out, so they were able to follow up and clean up the kills.
And that being said, it's only now a 7,500 gold lead, but Baron is up in 30 seconds. Already we can see the team skirmishing over Vision as Flandre, with his teleport and soon to be Cannon Barrage, is back on the map.
And this
Do Vici have a chance, Clement? They just won one fight defending their base. 5-0-1 on Snow, 2-0-4 on Easyhoon.
They have a chance. If Snake continued to play this way, they definitely have a chance. Caveman has been nothing but stellar so far.
Oh, SOFM nearly getting caught by the likes of Caveman. That's the quickness and the grand entrance.
Yeah, he's not going to have his ultimate for this.
Baron immediately started out by the likes of Snake. Look at the damage. Hudia, Righteous Glory on the side. Breaks
Good,
free.
get it.
Swift does not steal. Inside of the pit with no flash and no way to get out. He will die as Snake find the Baron and a kill.
Well, good attempt from Vici right there, but they weren't able to get the pick off of Caveman's the quickness, and they had no gas left to steal the Baron. That's basically what happened.
That being said, Snake are now only 30 seconds away from their average game time. Maybe they're just playing the clock, Clement.
But
trying to get it as close
why
as
would
possible.
you want to play the clock? You're the best team in the West. Why do you have to make every game drag out to 36 minutes?
Playing it safe. Respect the opponent. Was that 1,000 damage onto Long?
Oh, yes, it was.
With a single barrel. Alrighty, Caveman looking to step forward. He almost has the quickness, but there's the Ben and Minion. The engage onto Long. Dead again as the inhibitor is broken.
Not much answer from Vici. They've already lost one member, 2 inhibitors.
Soon to be another inhibitor. As Long is dead for another 45 seconds. Minion wave crashing in now from 3 lanes as Snake are just clearing out every objective on the map that they can. Looking for the 3rd inhibitor now as SOFM is hanging back. Looks to step forward, but quickness is back up for Caveman. Nearly has his flash too. That said, the inhibitor line will shudder as the 3rd falls. Final inhibitor. Where does Vici draw the stand? Where do they put their line in the sand? It's not going to be here.
Well, by the looks of it, it might be game 2. But, yeah, so not a lot of response from Vici. I don't really blame them. They're missing 1 member, so it would be kind of a suicide mission, and it would just allow Snake to end the game. So the decision not to go in there, I think, is respectable from Vici. But, you know, they don't really have much to defend. The next push is going to be it.
Still 90 seconds on the likes of that Baron buff. Banner is nearly back up for SOFM with double supers coming from every lane. That said, Elder is up in 50 seconds. Could be an opportunity.
Yep, this has been the Caveman show. Let's see if he can get both of Snake's carries. Maybe try to catch them out when they're over-aggressive, standing too close than they need to be, and finish it off with a combo from Swift.
Hudia has found Swift. Needs 2 quick attacks. But Swift over the wall along with Caveman are now zoned away, and Snake are just playing this so patient with every objective, escorting minion waves by hand. Waiting out the entire duration of this Baron buff, and Vici find themselves struggling to clear this mass of minions flooding in, and then Snake decide, you know what, let's take the Elder Dragon.
Now this is the first Elder Drake, so it's not ridiculous in terms of stats. However, it will still amplify and give them quite a bit of true damage on their attacks.
that was really fast.
Yeah.
That was a very fast Elder Dragon. But now, first Elder Dragon, but triple Elemental Dragon burn.
Yep.
For a grand total of 180 true damage, not to mention the massive melee minion, double supers from every lane, and 6 items for the likes of Flandre. They are set to push in. Vici, it's your time to fight back.
Yep, it's their last hurrah. Look at that Phantom Minion swing.
It's actually pushing in. They're still waiting for the cannon wave. Snake, are they afraid of Vici right now?
Well, no, they just need to play patient.
There's the cannon barrage. That's the engage, and they've killed Caveman. You can't turn a fight if you've got no engage. Swift holding on to the ultimate, goes low and dies as Flandre gets a double kill. Easy Hoon on the side, doing work while Flandre looks to finish off the game. Easy Hoon steps in, but goes down to Crystal. Curtain call looks to be curtains for this game 1 as Flandre finishes off the first Nexus turret, and Snake in front of their home crowd in Chongqing are set to break the base and end this game 1 against Vici.
Took them 39 minutes to do it, but they still finish out the game in style, and the man you're looking at on the screen right now is Flandre, beating out a bad matchup in the Jays at level 2 and never letting go.
Absolutely not. Ruthless damage that he was putting out over the course of that game, as Vici found themselves unable to respond to the very slow and almost dedicated tempo from Snake. They took their time with their plays. They took their time with their objectives. And though it certainly was safe, we saw a little bit longer game time from them, it really was just a smothering effect.
Pretty much. We really were handed a lot of answers in this game so far. So how are Snake going to play before playoffs? They're going to play very conservative. They're not showing their hand too much, just going for picks they've already shown. And they're basically saying that, hey, if we play the scaling composition, we are a better team at this point. We can reach our power spikes without being hindered. However, I do want to point out their early game troubles in the bot lane have still continued.
Yeah, well, we did see Crystal step up a little bit during the early laning phase. It was when he got a little disrespectful towards the likes of Snow and Caveman, who was really on the trigger with that quickness grand entrance. I mean, he was flying in there.
Yeah, he was really doing very well in the early parts of the game. Of course, later, not so much. Big question still for Vici. Can they play a pick composition? My answer would be no. If you look at how much time Easy Hoon spent on the side lanes, it was a lot. He had 425 CS, but did he do his teams any favors? No.
Wow. Well, the classic. I mean, you said it yourself during the game. Why roam from the lane when other people can come to you and try to break that lane open? That said, it was against Guoguo's Azir.
Yeah, he did need to facilitate even more. I felt like there were a couple of chances where they could have used the quickness, get more ganks on, but Easy he never pulled the trigger on Realm Warp. He's not a Guoguo type of player. And then we have Long. So I'm perfectly willing to bet that he will not pick Jace in game 2.
I mean, second time he's played the champion. I'm not sure if he was able to get a kill or assist and bump up from the 0.0 KDA to something a little bit higher, but still not a very proud game to take away. That's not the one that you share with your friends.
Yeah, so 0.0 means that you can't go negative on KDA, so that's as low as you can possibly go.
Rounding down.
Yeah, so I hope he gets better.
I mean, fingers crossed, right? We already mentioned the fact that he has the second highest damage taken in the league for top laners. He's a tank player.
Yeah,
historically and traditionally, we did not see that this game. He tried to step up, and he did not succeed against the likes of Snake. That said, they've still got game 2 coming at them.
Yeah, Vici trying a lot of new things. I think they're played a very exciting game, especially from their support. Still not able to pull the composition together, though.
Well, we'll have to see if they can bring it back. Now it's up to our analysts to break down that game 1.
But can they, Dom? Because Clement's already come out and said that one team can't win a game no matter what they change, and they actually won that game. That was the last set between EDG and OMG, where they picked up a series win after Clement said, there's nothing OMG can do. Can Vici do it, though, Frosco?
Well, I gave Vici their best shot. I said that red side was going to be incredibly important to them, that they would need to utilize red side to get winning lane matchups in their solo lanes. They got the Ryze into the Azir. Now, I'm not going to call that directly winning, but Ryze does get push priority pretty early on in that between like levels 5 to levels 9, he's going to have the roam potential and easy access to side lanes. And Jace should actually beat Gangplank, especially when Gangplank is so greedy that he goes Kleptomancy. Again, Gangplank in the Gnar matchup, another ranged matchup or range for a portion of it, is having to take the Resolve tree because he needs the access to Bone Plate and Second Wind to even just maintain himself. but Flandre absolutely blasted Jace. Like, the fact that Vici still got that and then it didn't work and they failed in their solo lanes anywhere. EasyHoom was non-existent, never made the roam, never participated with his team. Everything had to happen around him, and Jace just straight up lost.
Yeah, pretty much. And on top of that, it was the right move from Vici. Drafting so that they had the winning solo lane matchups, weren't able to execute as efficiently, but they did track SOFM and they did punish him for trying to make those invades that he's so predictable in doing.
But did they, though? Like, yeah, Swift was much more proactive on the map, you know, getting in SOFM's face, forcing him to flash for the Gromp, catching him occasionally. There was that blue buff skirmish where SOFM got punished there, but ultimately, I feel like Swift is trying to put out every single fire on the map. He didn't have time to dedicate towards the top lane. I think if you are going to pinpoint on Swift and say, where did you actually make a mistake that game, I think not assisting his Jace was a big issue, because when you have that Jace versus GP matchup, like, Jace is your primary bridge from early to mid game, so you need to get him snowballed. Swift hardly spent any time, but I can understand that from Swift, because everywhere else on the map was really struggling in matchups that they shouldn't have.
So what should Vici be doing to make Swift's life easier? If everything is on fire, how did Vici stop everything from being on fire so Swift can actually do his job?
I think it mostly means that they just need to play defensive. The bot lane between Caveman and Snow was actually doing fairly well, you know, trading a couple of kills back and forth, but it was just a better read by Crystal and Houtier to absorb a lot of that forward pressure from Xayah and Rakan, and then just kind of waste a lot of Swift's time. So I think you make the comp simpler. Not every lane needs to win. Not every lane needs to have the attention. If you have a Jace, just give it all the resources to the Jace. Unlock your Rise. Try to get him also to bring resources. But right now, it's trying to do too much. Trying to juggle it and carry too much.
And without giving the resources to the top side of the map, Flandre on his gangplank was able to take it to Jace, and he picks up MVP for his performance.
Yeah,
I mean,
just to reiterate what the casters were saying, he was 6,000 gold ahead of his opponent. Now, when Snake are 8,000 gold ahead of Vici, that means like 90% of that is on one guy. So if Flandre misplayed those team fights, that would mean that Snake actually didn't really have a lead at all. But fortunately for Flandre, he is having a 2015-esque type of split in 2018, and it's just looked great. And the arrogance to take Klepto on Gangplank in that matchup really showcases that.
And on top of that, I just want to go back to what we talked about before the match. Was that the dominant performance Snake needed? Because yes, it was a class act coming out from Flandre, but it still felt like it was back and forth despite the gold always being in Snake's favor.
Yeah, it's subbing the word dominance for controlled. It was a very controlled victory from Snake. They never felt like, even when a fight went to Vici, that Snake were out of control. It was pretty much like, yeah, we're going to beat them anyway at 40 minutes because of our comp, whatever.
Well, that was game number 1 where Snake were able to pick up a victory, but we're going to go to a very short break. We're back with game 2 in just a bit.